having trouble, what a sad story. Needed a new leader to restore its former glory. Where, oh, where was he? Where could that man be? We looked around, and then we found the man for you and me. And now it's springtime for Hitler and Germany. Deutschland is happy and gay. We're marching to a faster pace. Look out, here comes the master race. Springtime for Hitler and Germany. Winter for Poland and France. Springtime for Hitler and Germany. Come on, Germans, go into your dance. I was born in Dusseldorf, and that is why they call me Rolf.
Don't be stupid, be a smarty. Come and join the Nazi party.
Talk about bad taste.
That quite prolonged clip from the film The Producers from the 60s, from the late 60s. In my estimation, from what I've seen, is the best sequence of comedy, apart from a short section in it, that I've ever seen, and I think that there is in cinema. I've never seen anything that comes close to that. The level of ingenuity and what it must have taken, not only to conceive such a sequence, but to actually pull it off in the way it was pulled off. Absolutely amazing piece of cinema. And yeah, it's sort of, you know, today, for example, we've seen a psychiatrist try to position me around mood and so on and so forth, that laughing at stuff like that, at watching stuff like that, that sort of, like I said, it's, in my estimation, the best piece of comedic cinema there is. Nothing comes close to that I've ever seen, like I said. And there is a place for that type of humour. Whether you call it black humour or whatever. There really is a place for that. And that's a classic example of it. And when I, in these videos and so on, that is, despite getting older, a bit older, you don't lose your sense of humour. And part of my sense of humour is sort of at times one of the forms of my humour is black humour. And I'm good at it. And I'm pretty good at other forms of humour as well. But yeah, there's the suggestions made off the back of that don't really stand up. And I think, I'm guessing the people who make these suggestions sort of know that, when it's seen for what it is, sort of thing. Yeah. Not that I should have to explain this stuff, but yeah, it is pretty damn funny stuff. Not in that sequence. And I suppose I'm comparing myself to like something of that standard. Some of my humour. I'd say it can be up to that standard, if not surpasses it. In quite a few instances. But yeah. I mean, you can make anything out of that sort of stuff if you want to. I don't know whether there's some attempt to get some sort of closure, which to me is some sense. I'm having to adjust this because you know what happens when I'm making these videos. Some sense of closure from psychiatrists and so on. It ain't coming. Certainly ain't coming from me. That should be evident by now. Because of the sheer amount of resources that were put in around me during the amalgam years and what's been attempted beyond that. I mean, stuff goes on now that I've sort of surpassed, significantly surpassed, despite the fact that there are attempts to, engineer me into arguments and so on and so forth, and then, and also sort of test out, sort of guide me or whatever, in a way that's really not needed. I'm smart enough to be able to do that. I'm smart enough and old enough to be able to do that type of thing for myself. So yeah. Sort of, again, it does. It does sort of suggest an enduring paternalism, even though if that's there's attempts to work around that, which tend to be the case with quite a few things that psychiatrists and so on try to bring about. Yeah, it's like, maybe from a position of wanting this sort of, which to me is a really dated concept, of some great grand idea of some great closure or something or other. I don't go in for that sort of thing, and there ain't going to be that sort of thing, not from me anyway. Like I said ages ago, using the terminology of denouements. It's I suppose in a sense there is, in the way things are going with me, regardless of what psychiatrists are doing. That is a form of denouement in a way. But it's like, I mean, even filming that sequence, like I said, it is so damn funny, that sequence. For someone to have the ability to put together something like that is just breathtaking to me. And then working off the back of it, sort of thing. But yeah. And there's stuff that's, I could go over, or the stuff that goes on. For example, I've got a delivery coming tomorrow. I've got a sign for it. It was, for whatever reason. And then, but like I said, it's like, if people are going to do this sort of thing, they're going to do that sort of thing. You just, like I said before, you just get on with your day, sort of thing. Yeah. So yeah, and off the back of me saying I've superseded all, like, sort of the stuff that goes on in the environment, and with the pharmacological stuff, the subliminal stuff, and so on and so forth, the subconscious stuff, etc. It's there may be, well, yeah, but what will you do if we keep on with it? Well, do. That is, I'll get on with my day, regardless of the what goes on. You just do. But yeah, let me cut it there because I've lost my train of thought, which has happened before, sort of thing, with what goes on. I'll get back to this in a second. But yeah, so, yeah, there is a place for what you could term black humour. Clearly there's a place for black humour. There always has been. But like, there's other aspects to life as well, obviously. But yeah, but the stuff that goes on, for the most part, is total crap. It really is. Like, so, and well, it's like I said, despite the fact of superseding the stuff that goes on around me, and with pharmacological stuff, the subconscious stuff, the subliminal stuff, etc. The more of that type of stuff takes place, the sort of more I do sort of get on top of it and supersede it, which I suppose in a way is yeah. But yeah, so like, for example, you get people dressing up and colours and so on and so forth, and And I've got on top of that as well. But yeah, and superseded it. Because yeah, I mean, I'd I'd be making the mistake that I sort of say other people make. I've engaged in a really dumbed down endeavour. In many respects, it's really not. Life's there's more to life than just what gets sort of the attempts to engineer some sort of closure, is it? Which to me, like I think I've said before, it's sort of an 80s, 90s term. Really goes back to that time. I'd have thought people would have progressed from that by now. Maybe they have. But it doesn't really seem that way to me. At times. But yeah. I've ordered. I think I've mentioned this video. They've got a sign for stuff. Well, I have to get my grocery deliveries, from what I call trees, for the most part, if not entirely, and so I'll get something delivered tomorrow, by train, or someone sort of trained to be a tree, and if this parcel gets delivered tomorrow, and then I'll sign for it, and so on and so forth. I'll watch The Singing Detective that I've ordered, the TV series from the mid-80s, that I quite liked at the time, in a number of aspects. Pretty good series, especially considering when it was made. But after that, I haven't got a clue. There is a film. Did I talk about the film with Harry Belafonte yesterday? Yeah, I think I did. Yeah, of course I did. Uptown Saturday Night, which I really thought was this film. Could have been. It could have been like edited, but I don't think it was, because the film I want to watch with an all-black cast, I'd sort of like to see a variety of black faces, black people. It'd be equally worthwhile to see a variety of white people. But yeah, as an obscure cast, a really obscure cast, and it was a really funny film. Really funny film. But for the life of me, I can't remember the title of it. So yeah, I don't think I'm going to remember it at all. Possibly not least because it didn't have it had an obscure cast, partly. But yeah, it was a funny film. It was sort of thing. But yeah, I mean the Anyway, I could go into loads of detail, like what is it? Rambling about this, that, and whatever, or and so on. But it's a bit of a dull. Not only is it a dull experience to do that, but then exactly entertaining to watch, is it? Or interesting to watch either. Yeah. So yeah. Anyway, like I said yesterday, in the absence of having anything to watch, apart from the Singing Detective tomorrow, if it comes, and then afterwards, what do I then watch, sort of thing, and so on. That film with an obscure cast would be a great one to look at, I'm sure. But yeah, yes. Anyway, yeah. It looks like I'm again looking at I'll save a copy of that sequence from the producers. Like I said, it's just, you know, if you don't find that funny, then I've got to question your sense of humour. That was something else I was going to say. I forgot to say that I mentioned last night a couple of times. Is that there was this playwright called Oscar Wilde, and he made this, you know, the grandiloquent comment that's quite well cited comment in I don't know, it's some context where he said the only thing, something along the lines of, the only thing I have to declare is my genius. And you sort of think about stuff like that from people like that, and you think, you know, if you were the guy on the receiving end of a comment like that, you'd just think, what a fucking twat. Which is sort of the you know, one of my pieces of advice in life is, if you do come across people like that, many people who come out with stuff that just doesn't, you know, it just sounds a bit daft. You don't pay them a second's thought, do you? But, you know, like I've pointed out, you know, even though I'm not the type of person to devote a second's thought to deliveries or whoever or whatever's going on around here, why would anyone any you know, grounded, measured sense that I've also got. But anyway, yeah, I think I mentioned about getting that clip, that sequence from the producers into a recording. Massive kerfuffle around it, where all sorts of bullshit was going on, that, you know, to see what had happened or something. Again, it's just, you know, pretty damn boring stuff. But yeah, so that took place. You just, you know, sort of, you know, it is part of getting on with your day, isn't it? You know, and this is part of, even though I'm not the type of person to do videos, this is actually part of doing videos. You do actually, you know, at times, laud certain things that you find impressive. Initially, sometimes I'll go over the top, but for a long time I've thought that sequence in The Producers was really impressive overall. Yeah. So yeah. Another thing I thought about continental Europe in the 70s was how it would have been, I think I've mentioned this before as well, would have been people, for example, like the Dutch and other parts of continental Europe, I would have guessed, would have had this grounded, measured sense, maybe especially in the Netherlands, which does strike me as easygoing, grounded, measured. The people there do seem like that to me, from what I can gather. Which is sort of my sense of people. Many people in many parts of continental Europe, well, at least in the 70s. I'm sure it's the case now. But yeah, not everyone's like that, and, yeah, but that's the way it seems to be. That's about it for now. I've talked at length, I've talked too much about nothing in particular, apart from that sequence in The Producers, and that black humour, for want of a better term. Well, it is a pretty good term for that type of humour. That's a great place, but it's not the only form of entertainment. It's not the only type of humour, and so on. But it's at times pretty enjoyable.